Welcome back, students, to the Advanced Computer Networks lecture series. So today we are going to discuss about the basics of transport layer, which is a third unit from the syllabus for the RCO syllabus and from the BCA section. So today we are going to discuss about the transport layer services. So in this topic we are going to discuss about services provided to the upper layers and then transport service primitives. We have already studied the OSI model and TCP/IP model. Also we have covered the network layer. We have discussed the network routing algorithms and so on. So whenever we talk about transport services, we'll recap about the things that we studied in the network layer. So in the basic task of the network layer is all about the routing. So we have discussed many routing algorithms, the problems that occur in the routing like congestion, flooding and so on. So to overcome some drawbacks of the network layer, we need one more upper layer or the one more entity which can tell us or which can give a surety of reliable and cost effective service. So the basic task of the transport layer or the goal of the transport layer is to provide a reliable and cost effective data transfer from the source machine to the destination machine, or we can say that end-to-end service. The basic idea of this is because when we talk about the OSI model, the bottom four layers are called as service providers and the top three layers of the OSI model are called as the service receivers. Okay, so when we talk about the network layer, the routing and congestions algorithm we have studied, but the problem with the network layer is what? Suppose that a host wants to communicate with another host, so it provides the packets and it goes through the bottom layers and then it will be reached to the destination machine. But in the routing, what happens is there can be a traffic, or there can be a flooding, or there can be congestion, or there can be duplicate packets. So these are the problems that occur in the routing. Even though, and also we have studied that there are two types of connection in the network layer, that is the connection oriented services and connectionless services. Basically, in case of connectionless services, we know that the packets follow the different path. So because of this, we don't have any assurity that the packets reach the destination in a proper time, or we cannot guarantee that the data is being sent as the user had sent from the source machine. So to overcome this, on top of an unreliable service, that is, let me repeat, network layer, we can say that it is a unreliable layer. So on this unreliable layer, we need one more layer or one more entity, that is nothing but the transport layer, which provides a reliable, cost effective data transfer from the source machine to the destination machine. So when we talk about end-to-end services, what is this basically end-to-end service is all about? Like for example, from the host 1 in the application layer, a process is running or a program is running. So the same process wants to communicate with another process that is running on some other machine, or host 2, or you can say client server architecture. So for that, transport layer provides an end-to-end service or end-to-end communication. So this end-to-end communication is achieved by transport entity, something we call as the transport entity. So what this transport layer will do? Transport layer makes use of the services provided by the network layer, and then it gives this services, and it provides reliable and cost effective services for the processes. Now to begin with, what is transport entity? Like in the network layer, we have studied something called as routing algorithm. So what is the routing algorithm? Routing algorithm is nothing but what? Algorithms or the software and hardware that are clubbed and they are combined, and we have some application, or we can say a software. Okay, so these algorithms are wrapped up and they are put on the router, that we call it as the routing or routing algorithms. Similar to this, we have something called as transport entity. So what this transport entity is basically, this transport entity can be located in the operating system kernel, in a separate user process, or in a library package bound into the network applications or on the network interface card. So basically it is present on the operating system kernel, or it can be present on the network interface card, and so on. So the hardware and the software within the transport layer that provides the services is called as the transport entity. So what is transport entity? Basically, the transport entity is the collection of hardware, or it can be collection of both hardware and software within the transport layer, that we call it as the transport entity. So now in this diagram we can see the relationship between the network layer, transport layer and application layers. So let us discuss in detail about this. So these are the host 1 and host 2, or you can say a client and a server, and so on. So this is the application or a session layer, and here also the same thing. And now we have this something called as transport entity. So this transport entity is nothing but a collection of hardware and software that is running, okay, on the transport layer. So, and this transport entity provides the services for the application layer and application layer, so that two processes, a process running on this and the process running on here, they can communicate. So basically we know that program in execution is called as a process. So when two processes wants to communicate, end-to-end communication among two processes, we require this transport entity. And also this transport entity, what it does, it takes the help of network layer. That means in a nutshell, if you talk about the transport layer, so transport layer, this transport layer makes use of network layer, and it provides the facilities for the application layer. Let me repeat. So what transport layer will do? So this transport entity is present on the transport layer, or it can be say that it is present in the operating system kernel, in a separate user process, or in a library package. So this transport entity or the transport layer takes the help of network layer. That means it receives the information from the network layer, or it takes the help of network layer services, and then it provides services to the upper layer. This is what we are going to study. So whenever this transport layer wants to communicate, it uses something called as this TPDU. We call it as transport protocol data unit, or we can say a packet segment. So whenever we want to establish a connection, this TPDU acts as a logical pipe. This acts as a logical pipe through which the communication will be established, and then the data transmission can occur. So as we have studied in case of network layer, we have two types of connections establishment, that is connection oriented and connectionless. Just there are two types of network services, connection oriented and connectionless. There are also two types of transport services. The connection oriented transport service is similar to the connection oriented network service in many ways. In both the case, connections have three phases: establishment, data transfer, and data and release. So how this transport layer service provides a communication or end-to-end service to the another host running on another, the process running on another host. So to begin with, we have seen that just now we have seen that there are two types of connections, that is connection oriented and connectionless. The connection oriented service of this transport layer is almost similar to that of connection oriented service with respect to the network layer. Then the question arises, why we need a transport layer? Because if we talk about the network layer, if the services provided by the network layer, if they are almost similar to that of the transport layer, why we need the transport layer? The basic simple answer for this is, when we talk about the network layer, it is an unreliable one, because if it uses a connectionless service, or even in case of connection oriented service, what happens is there can be n number of subnets and there can be n number of routers. So the packet go through different routes, and it can be a traffic or there can be a congestion which cannot be handled, or we cannot rely on that type of service. So we need one more what you can say a cover up or a cover or a protection layer which will assure that the service is reliable and it is most effective. For this reason we need this transport layer. So now we are going to discuss about the three types of connections, that is the how this connection establishment will take place, and how the data will be transferred, and how the connection will be released. So now we are going to discuss about the transport layer service primitives. So what are these primitives? Primitives are nothing but the operations. Like a transport entity uses this kernel or a system call or a library function, or we can say this primitives as nothing but the collection of some operations, or it calls some library functions so that a connection can establish. So we have some basic 5 primitives, and from the exam point of view, this is very important. A 5 marks or a 6 mark question can be asked, what are the transport service primitives and how the connection establishment will take place. So to begin with, we have some basic primitives, that is listen, connect, send, receive and disconnect. And in that we have something called as packet sent. So this column indicates that whether a packet is sent, that means whether it is using this logical call pipe, that is the TPDU, whether it is used or no, and the meaning has been given to this.